Hello, welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it, What Do You Think Will Happen If? What do I mean by that? The obvious obstacle to the recognition of the fact that we are is whatever belief the mind has as to what will happen if I have whatever experience I am searching for. For example, what do you think is going to happen if you awaken? What do you think is going to happen if you become enlightened? You see? In that search, we don't realize that we're overlooking the fact that life is. And the moment the mind begins to come up with ideas, then it's a never-ending search for a carrot. You see, it's following a carrot in front of me, the carrot in front of the horse that I can never reach, because we're overlooking the fact that I am. Let me give you an example. In my case, the way this became very obvious is because, of course, there was a time that I was trying to do all sorts of things, or deep meditations and everything, to somehow quiet the mind and all that kind of stuff. But then when I was experiencing health challenges, at that moment I was able to see that the health issue was not the problem. The problem is how the mind was interpreting the health issue. You see? And it was interesting because I was able to relax in a space in which, okay, if this is what's happened, that's what it is. And at that moment, it was something, it clicked. So then life is, and the only thing that is overshadowing the obviousness of life is the belief that I will eventually get to a particular state or space in which, I don't know, life is going to look in a particular way, or I will not have any negative thoughts, or health issues will change if that was the case. But interestingly enough, nothing actually changed except the way I was looking at it. Now, pay close attention, because I don't want you to think this is about perspective. Perspective is still part of the sense of individuality. This is not a mind trick, okay? It's not about changing perspective, because there's still the belief in a sense of I, a person, an individual who's now changing perspective. It is about seeing the obvious. Right now, if you don't identify with the content of the mind, which is the one that is telling you how you're going to feel if, or how you're going to be if you realize that if everything is seen as such without the interference of the mind, you experience what is referred to as the peace that passes all understanding. The peace that passes all understanding is available not only now but eternally, because it's our natural beingness, until we identify with the content of the mind. So in the past, when I was trying so much to control the mind through whatever practice I felt that I had to do, it was interesting because I could see that I could not necessarily control it. Maybe for a moment it appears that I was able to quiet it for a bit, but then I see how it went back to its rhythms. And then I realized that it was not about controlling the mind, it's about looking at it. You see the difference? The sky doesn't try to control the clouds. The sky simply is. Clouds happen, but in the same way that they appear, they disappear. Well, guess what? Thoughts happen, and the way they appear, they disappear. If I judge the thought, it appears as if the thought has any power over me. And now I try to do some kind of a regimen or practice or something to control that, when really all I had to do is just to look at it. You see? But the reason why this is so difficult, or even impossible, is because we need thoughts to hold on to our sense of identity, because our sense of identity is a thought, is not a fact. Whatever I say about myself is a thought, is not a fact. Even though it may feel as if though I am what I'm feeling or I am what I'm thinking. But the truth of the matter is that if I am what I'm feeling, whenever the feeling goes, I should leave too. If I am what I'm thinking, whenever the thought leaves, I should leave too. And yet what I am remains even when there's thinking, even when there's feelings, sensations, appearances. I am. You see? There was a time where I felt like I would like to go to India and stay in a retreat, or, I would love to visit, for example, the house of Nisargadatta Maharaj and Ramana Maharshi's ashram, but I don't see it as a way of thinking that something is going to happen if I go there. It's just like a tourist thing, right? But I would love to visit it because, I was very profoundly impacted by their teaching, which is exactly this. It's just basically, just don't believe whatever you think. Ramana Maharshi points to, when Atma Vichara, pointing to, let's see if you can find the thinker of the thought, you see? And then you realize that you cannot find the thinker of the thought, you simply are. Nisargadatta Maharaj would point to just rest in I am. What is resting in I am? The experience of being. You see, this is it. It's not that if you rest in I am, eventually you will, it's that it's pointing to the obvious. Right now, you cannot say you're not. You cannot say you don't exist, because existence is the essence of experiencing right now, and it's not you who's experiencing it. Remember, I'm not talking to you. This is just a seeming appearance of words that is pointing to the obvious. Okay, it's like when you're dreaming. If you're sleeping at night and you're dreaming, and your mom is speaking to you saying, "Sweetheart, wake up," the mom is not speaking to the image in the dream. The mom is speaking to the dreamer of the dream. Well, I am not speaking to the image on the other side of this camera. There's no other side of the camera, obviously, but you know what I mean. That which supposedly is projecting all of this is seeing the world through the filter of itself as something. You see? If that supposedly is projecting the dream, is using the instrument to experience itself, you see? It uses the instrument to look, but in reality it's not looking anything outside of itself, it's looking at itself, but it needs a point of reference, you see? From that point of reference is that I can say, I am, I exist, I am this, you are that. But without this point of reference, it'll be just totality and everything which encompasses, you see. But we don't have to make this very complicated. I don't have to go into all this philosophical or, whatever, theoretical. Let's talk about the simplicity of this right now, right this moment. What would happen if you do not identify with your thoughts? Well, it's not that what will happen, is that it's already happening. Do you see? Right now, if you don't identify with the thoughts, if you see them as such, but you do not make anything of them, you don't believe them, what is left? You see, so the word "what would happen" might not be the best one. What is left? Or better yet, what remains? What is? You see? But because of this strong sense of identity, we're trying to do this in order to achieve something, become something, you see? And this is where there's a trap. And again, when I was dealing with health issues, that's when finally this was, of course, because the health issue at the time did not change, but the mentality did. And the attitude was, well, if I'm supposed to be on this earth, I will be here. If I'm not supposed to be, I'm fine with that. You see, is you can look at the thread of the mind. You see? So it's like you having something that you so much value, right? And I know that if I take that something and threaten you with, I will throw it away, or I will destroy it, I can dominate you. I got you under my control. But what if I take that thing that you used to value because you were identified with the thoughts that said this is variable, this is valuable, this is important, or whatever. What if you come to the realization that it's meaningless and it's valueless, and then when I try to use that same thing to threaten you. If you do not do what I do, I'm going to take this away. And you say, okay, take it away, no problem. What happens? What happens is that I have nothing to threaten you with. Well, the mind uses the ultimate threat where the body can die. If you believe you're a body, that's a perfect threat. But if you know that you are, it doesn't distract you anymore. You see? So now life simply happens. There's detachment to everything because you know nothing is yours. Paradoxically, everything is you. You see that? Nothing is yours, and yet everything is you. See? So I'm trying to possess what I am. I'm trying to possess myself. But the moment the mind begins to fragment everything, it believes this is my money, this is my house, this is my relationship, this is my body. But when everything is seen that it's just mind interpreting, just projecting meaning onto anything, this is not my body, this is not my money, this is not my car, this is not my relationship, nothing is mine, this is not even my world, I am. See? That's why when in the Bible says, seek you first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all of the things will be added on to you, is a very powerful statement. Because what it's saying is that forget about the details and just put your attention on the fact that you are, and the moment you know that you are, everything has to be a part of you as well. But from the fragmented mind, the mind says, yeah, but I want this, I need more of this, and life says, no, you don't get what you want, you get what you need. And you have what you need right now, right this moment, and you always have what you need. This is not about lifestyle. This is not about, yeah, but I need more money to pay for this mansion. No, you don't need that mansion. You just need a place where you can rest your head. You need a place where you can simply be protected from the environment, and that doesn't have to look in a particular way. Now, if you happen to be in a particular career, for example, either show business or a business that you love, because it's the way you extend your love and your service, and it so happens that it makes a lot of money, and you can purchase a mansion, you can do that, but the mansion doesn't define you. It's just simply, okay, this is what is. Instead of giving, the money to the government, you can go ahead and buy something that allows you to have a tax deduction. But again, that's irrelevant. The point is that nothing of this world defines you because you know who you are. And what you are is not defined by thoughts. You see? This is the simplicity of this. What you are is not defined by thoughts, it simply is. And when you know that you are, then what you need to do to become what you are. You see? Which go back to the question, what do you think is going to happen if you become what you think you will become if you do a particular routine or something? What do you think is going to happen? You see? This is what's going to happen. This is it. Right here. Right now. This is what's going to happen. With or without the challenges that life could present. This is it. You see? And then you experience the freedom, the liberation of being. And now you know that life takes care of life because you are life. Life knows exactly what you need and is giving it to you right now, but I think Daifer Muji said something beautiful. He says, life gives you bread and you want toast. We're presented with life, taking care of life, but we say, no, but I want it to look differently. Well, there's a problem there. Does that mean that you cannot enjoy things that you would like to have? Sure, why not? If I can have them, if I can have the experience, why not? If I could go ahead and head to India and visit all these places, why not? But right now this is not happening, therefore why concern about it? And the mind would say, but shouldn't you plan about it? Shouldn't you do something about it? I just had it much, much easier. I don't need to. And if for some reason life wanted me to be in India, either because I get to visit some of those places or God knows what, well, the perfect time will come. Well, the inspiration will come through this instrument. The instrument will find itself doing whatever needs to be done in order to arrange for that particular trip. and I will find myself in India. But not because of an effort on my part. Even on the surface, it appears that there's effort. I call the travel agency, or I book the ticket online, and then I pack, find myself going to the airport, and then I find myself on the flight. All that stuff requires effort, but it's not desperate, controlling effort. It's the natural flow of what needs to happen in order for that thing called me in India takes place within the world of illusion. Okay? I see fantasies as simply possibilities. Last night I finished translating another one of my songs in English. It was fun. I had a great time. I did it, and then I sat in the studio and I started doing the vocals and all that stuff. Great, but that doesn't mean anything. Will people ever hear that song? I have no clue. It may not, but that's okay, because I am not doing it for any other reason than just the fact that it's what is being done through the instrument. Right now, here I am recording this video. This is what's happening. You see? Life is happening. I am live, and we're pointing to that. You see? So ask yourself again the question, what do you think is going to happen if you become enlightened, or if you awaken, or if you do whatever you think you need to do in order to become whatever you think you need to become? And I'm talking about this, the spiritual quest word here, because I know that if you want to become a doctor, so I know what's going to happen if you study, and then you pass the test and you become a doctor. But within this simplicity of life, what do you think is going to happen if you become enlightened, if you awaken, or whatever the case may be? What do you think is going to happen? And there you can see the belief system that is not allowing you to experience right now the simplicity, the directness of life itself. My mind is going to be quiet. Well, then if you feel that way, you're going to spend your whole life trying to quiet the mind. And what if the mind doesn't become quiet? Then the mind throws you another curve. You're doing it wrong. You have to go to this other one. You have to go deeper, and then before you even know it, you spend your whole life chasing yourself. Chasing what you are. But you think that what you are has to look in a particular way. If I was awakened, I would never get sick. If I was awakened, I'd had all the money in the world. If I was awakened, my relationship with the world and my family would be in the particular way. There'll never be any a difference in opinions. Everything is going to be smooth sailing, so to speak. If I achieve whatever that case, whatever it may be, this is what would happen. And you see, and that's how you overlook the fact that life is happening. Somebody once says, life is happening while you're making other plans. I think somebody attributed to John Lennon, but I'm not really sure, because I've heard that might not be the case. So whoever is the one who came up with in reality, they are not the one who came up with. Life came up with and used whatever instrument to express it, that's all. Well, you're an instrument, and life is using you to express itself in a particular way. I'm an instrument, life is using me to express myself in a particular way. But the only thing is that I have something very clear, that nothing different or special is going to happen as a result of anything, because I am, life is, and this is what we're pointing to. This is not esoteric, this is not philosophical, this is not theoretical, this is direct experiencing right now. It's pure experiencing, it's experience right now. Can you say you're not? Can you say you don't exist? You see, the problem is you think you exist as something. But what if you simply are? What if what is what is? Don't identify with the content of the mind and what is the direct experience. You see? Do not believe the thoughts. They can be there, just don't identify with them. Don't pretend that they are yours. These simply just passing clouds. Do not believe any thoughts. Do not identify with the thoughts, and what is left. What is left is what you are. The peace that passes all understanding. The happiness that is untouchable, unmovable, ever present. Love, beingness. You see, it's not personal. It's not a mystery. It's the obvious that is overlooked by thoughts. or by believing in them. Let's put it this way. And well, this is the inspiration that came through this instrument. I hope it served. And as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.